You and I have both experienced that pain. You strive for your justice, and I strive for mine.
And what's going on, Read My Lips people? We are back. Back like we ain't never left, baby. So, I've come bringing some more Yang news for you guys. And it's a doozy. So, first and foremost, everyone loves the weekend. Most people in retail don't get weekends off, but majority of America loves the weekend, right? Most people look forward to the weekend. Well, Andrew Yang is proposing something. He says it's time to supersize America's weekend. Well, what does he mean by that? 3-day weekends are better than 2-day weekends. And we should seriously look at 4-day work weeks. Studies show that we would be just as productive. It would create jobs at the margins and improve mental health. And I know there's a lot of really left-wing countries that embrace this kind of idea, like paid work leave, mandatory, and things like that. And the discussion of longer weekends is nothing new. People have been talking about that for a long time. Of course, we're run by corporatism over here in America, and the chances of that are gonna be slim. But the WashingtonPost had said something. They asked the question, will the coronavirus pandemic open the door to a 4-day weekend? And this both ties into what Yang was talking about. So it goes on to say the world is watching New Zealand, and the Prime Minister, Ardern, uploaded a video to Facebook last week floating the idea of a 4-day work week, and an audience outside of New Zealand took notice, and judging by the headlines, they liked it. I've heard lots of people suggesting we should have a 4-day work week, and this is the Prime Minister. Ultimately, that really sits between employers and employees, and she considered companies to consider new policies. I'd really encourage people to think about that. If you're an employer in a position to do so, it's something that would work for your workplace. Now, look, I'm all for something like this. I'm pretty sure most people would love a 4-day work week. But look, the chances of this happening are slim to none, in my opinion. I feel like America is so stuck on corporate socialism. We have such a corporatocracy that I feel like something like a 4-day work week or giving people a 3-day weekend is unfathomable to them. I feel like they couldn't even consider, with the way trends are here right now, I feel like the companies and the corporations wouldn't even consider a thing like that. You want to talk about a major overhaul, that would be a huge overhaul. That would be quite the accomplishment to get them to do something like that. There's been studies on this, though. There's been studies. Some studies show that workplace productivity and satisfaction go up under a shorter, more compressed schedule. Actually, I was reading something, and this was years ago, that when you actually work even an 8-hour shift, after the 6 hour or 6.5 hours rather, your productivity and your mind state drops. So once you've been there 6.5 hours doing whatever your job is, after that, your engine's done. You're not even retaining information the way you should be, like when you first got there, and your engine is literally on the decline. And it's the same thing, I feel like, when you're working a full week. As your week progresses, your engine is sinking. You're ready to just decompress and be done. And a 4-day work week would be interesting.
I have to go to work.
Really?
Do you need to get to work or anything?
No, I'm no work today.
Finland's prime minister has touted this idea. The UK's Labour Party has campaigned on it, and companies including Microsoft in Japan and Shake Shack in the US have succeeded in trying out versions of it. While not all have ultimately stayed, one study in the UK last year found 64% of leaders of businesses with 4-day weekends saw an increase in staff productivity. That goes back to what I literally just said. The longer the week goes, the more down your throttle goes. You're on a decline, like as your week progresses. Even during the day, after 6.5 hours, you're on a decline. If you give people more reprieve, they will work better throughout the week when they've had time to really rest up. And 77% of workers linked it to a better quality of life having a 4-day work week. The same study cited bureaucratic hurdles like contracts and other major limitations. So this is a very interesting idea. Longer weekends and shorter work weeks. How do you guys feel about that? Now, this really wouldn't affect everybody because, again, some people do work on the weekends. But inevitably, if you had a 4-day work week, that would be incredible. How do you guys feel about that? Let me know in the comment section if that's something you're in favor in. I'm happy I saw Yang tweet that because that's next level. And you're not going to see a lot of politicians campaigning on that or even talking about something like that. Because, again, a lot of them are tied up in corporate socialism. And a lot of their donors don't like the sound of a 4-day work week. So, but that's not all. The main topic I wanted to bring to you guys was Andrew Yang launches a universal basic income trial run in South Carolina. So I've talked about other places that have done trial runs, UBI trial runs in different places, and now Andrew Yang starting one in South Carolina. He goes on to say the biggest impediment to universal basic income is people not thinking that it's possible. But then when they see it in real life, they think, wow, that is possible. And Yang said this in a press conference on Friday. We're going to help people in South Carolina see that it's possible for them and everyone in their state and everyone around the country. Yang announced in the press conference that he will pick 2 people, either from Kershaw or Richland counties, to be part of this demonstration. If you live in Kershaw or Richland counties and you want to apply, the application will stay open until May 31st. The demonstration, of course, is funded by Humanity Forward. Yang has already done a version of this demonstration in Washington and plans to do a 20-person version in Hudson, New York later this year. So, dude, this all goes back to what I was saying. He doesn't stay stagnant. He's always doing something. He's always grinding. He's always working. And now 2 people in South Carolina are going to have a version of UBI for a while. Who can dislike that? He continuously makes moves while other people like Bloomberg and all these other people that came out vying to be president are sitting on their thumbs. They're sitting on their thumbs. They're not doing anything. And Yang's continuing to grind. So let me know what you think about South Carolina now getting a kind of, not a kind of, UBI. But it's going to be a trial run. That's dope. That's dope. And also let me know, I've seen some people propose UBI at 16 and up. I know when Yang ran with the Freedom Dividend, it's 18 and up. I actually agree with the 18 and up version, but I've seen some people try to tout the 16 and up version. I'm not saying the 16 and up version is horrible. I'm saying I prefer the 18 and up, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. So, just some quick videos for you guys. It's been a crazy busy day. I just wanted to get this out there. I'll have another video for you guys tomorrow. It's actually going to be an extensive video, and it's going to be Biden-based, so stay tuned. Also, this weekend, Sunday, I'm going to be being interviewed by Boyce from Mindful Skeptics, so be prepared for that. And Friday, I'll be doing an interview on the Yang Gang Roundtable podcast as well. That's going to be on Friday, which is the 29th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. So I'm going to be on 2 live streams this weekend. Definitely tune in. I want to talk to you guys and talk about good shit. But yeah, I definitely wanted to get this video out to you. Long weekends and Yang dropping more UBI as he does. Also, before we sign out, I had asked before what Yang's thoughts were on the Joe Biden telling black people if they don't vote for him, they ain't black situation. And people were telling me like his mic got cut off. Or did he cut his mic off? And I was like, what the fuck? Don't tell me you cut your mic. So they addressed the connection disappearing. And, they spoke on it. And Andrew Yang gave his thoughts on the Joe Biden comment. And this is one of the few times I have to disagree.
Former 2020 Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang is back with us now. It was like the worst possible time to lose that connection we have here. So thank you for sticking around with us. Before we lost you, I asked you for your reaction to the vice president's comments this week about black voters weighing their choice between himself and President Trump. Let's just play the clip one more time.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man.
So Andrew, the vice president, is now apologizing, saying he shouldn't have been so cavalier. And we are now learning the Trump campaign is planning to launch a $1 million attack ad centered around those comments. What's your reaction?
Well, I was with Joe in South Carolina, and he's the nominee because of his long-standing relationship with the African-American community. He was Obama's VP for 8 years, and that relationship is very, very strong. I think the Trump administration can try and make something out of this particular comment, but Joe apologized. Everyone's ready to move on. I think it's money terribly spent on their part, honestly. They should be focusing on something with more really anything, because that's going to be a loser for them.
But when you hear him say that, that doesn't give you a little bit of the, why did he go there?
No, I think we know that Joe was attempting to be cavalier, as he said, and, he apologized for it immediately afterwards. I think everyone's going to forget about this in a day or less.
A quick last question for you. We know Biden is weighing his options for a running mate right now. You were in this race. Who do you think he should pick?
I'm a huge fan of the people that have been reported as in consideration for the VP slot. He can't go wrong with any of the candidates that I've spent time with. That's obviously Kamala Harris, Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren. I haven't spent as much time with some of the other women in consideration, but he's got some phenomenal people to choose from, and he can't go wrong with any of the people I've spent time with.
All right, Andrew.
I disagree with Yang on this scenario. He's saying people are ready to get past it. I can only speak for myself. And no, I'm just adding that to the list of fuck-ups that Joe Biden has done. And I'm not really past it yet. I'm not quite past that. And I can care less how well received he was in South Carolina. I actually think it was a shame how well he was received in South Carolina, seeing as how he hasn't done anything for black people and doesn't plan on doing anything for black people. And South Carolina voted for him, and now people are asking him now, what are you going to do for black people? You should have been asking him what he was going to do for black people before you voted for him in South Carolina. And I could also care less about his connection and relationship with Barack Obama. None of that means anything to me. I'm a policy-based guy. I'm policy-driven, and his policies are shit. And I don't like that he was as comfortable as he was to be cavalier or to make that joke. Yuck. I'm not digging it. And this is just from my perspective. Yang's allowed to have his perspective on it. And if I was interviewing Yang, I would definitely bring that up with him. and I would be speaking as an African American how I feel about it. But what I am happy of is that Yang didn't cut his mic, and look, he's entitled to his own opinion. He has his own opinion about the Tara Reid allegations as well. But I just wanted to put that out there, because for a while now they're saying Yang cut his mic, or CNN cut him, but clearly they addressed the issue. And I mean, even the reporter, the journalist, whatever you want to call her, CNN's not really journalists or reporters over there if you really think about it, but even she pushed back on Yang a little bit and was like, that wasn't a moment. And I think Yang was too light on this subject. He brushed it under the rug too quickly. And again, if I was interviewing him, I would press him on this situation, because it's not I want to move past it because he apologized, so everything's fine. That's not how reality works. Just because if everything was fixed with an apology, the world would be a much better place, wouldn't it? So yeah, that's how I feel about it. So obviously him and I have a disagreement on Biden's approach on that interview, and his apology. But again, I just wanted to bring up the fact that Yang did comment on it. He didn't run from it. Regardless if I agree or disagree with him on it, he didn't run from the question. So yeah, that'll do it for today, guys. I have a pretty big video coming for you guys tomorrow, and I'm working on the intro for Read My Lips quick clips. If you didn't see the last live stream I did, check that out. I talk about how I'm going to do like small segments of quick clips for you guys, because things happen, and because I have to record and edit and stuff like that, I may miss out on like a really hot topic, but my quick clips will allow me to address them in the heat of the scenario, of the situation, and then later on I can do a longer segment on it like I usually do. So quick clips is coming. Look for it within the next couple days, a week or so. And yeah, so if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you don't, let me know in the comment section why. I'm always down to talk about it. I have a Cash App, a PayPal, and a Venmo link in the description below. Please feel free to donate to the channel. Every little bit helps. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace.